You are listening to Femme House Radio with your host, LP Giobbi. And this week on Femme House Radio, we have Houston-born DJ producer Tay Powers. Her wide range of musical abilities and unique skills behind the turntables have led her to DJ at some of the largest events and venues internationally and work with some of the top artists in dance, pop, hip-hop, and R&B, including Ty Dolla $ign, Justin Bieber, and many more. Most recently, her piano and R&B mixes have catapulted her to become one of the top trending artists on TikTok and Instagram, garnering millions of views and support from Miguel, Missy Elliott, and more. With the personal motto, Love Powers All, Tay Powers brings refreshing energy and an undeniable vibe to every venue she steps into. Welcome to Femme House Radio.
Thank you so much for having me, LP. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. Tell us about your journey into DJing and production. How did this happen for you?
Wow. Stumbled into DJing, actually. I've been started off as a jazz musician, actually. I played trumpet and piano, and when I was in high school, I went to a performing arts high school called HSPVA here in Houston, and we didn't have any sports teams, but we did have a DJ team. So it was super, super cool. And so our DJ team would get to play every Friday at lunch. So we had parties every Friday at lunch, and for our school events and outside events as well. So I was like DJing proms from different schools and whatnot from the time I was in like 10th grade. So
this is an
that's
incredible program.
Oh, it's so cool. It's called RPVA, it's radio PVA. And so we would DJ, we'd have MCs kind of learn to do that. And what's funny is there wasn't necessarily a teacher, sometimes in high school programs, there's like a counselor or a coach or anything. It was all student led. So seniors were teaching freshmen. You couldn't kind of get higher up in it until you got to junior year, and then you could be captain. So I ended up being like captain of the DJ team.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so, so musician first, and then I was also into music production at the same time. So I started off probably from the time I was 12 with Reason and Fruity Loops and Pro Tools.
Whoa, who in your life showed you that stuff?
Oh, you know what? I'm like, I'm aging myself. I'm like, it didn't really exist at the time, but my uncle had a recording studio here in Houston, and I wanted to do my own music, and this is going to sound kind of shady, but there was a producer that my family was like paying for me to work with. Yeah. And, you're a musician too. So, he was doing a track for me, and I'm like, the hook isn't a major key. Why are you doing this in minor? Like, it's just like, it's clashy. Right. And I was like, I have to learn to do this myself. Cause I was like, okay, what he's doing can't be, snaps. Yep. It was like, it can't be that hard. So I was about 13 incredible. At the time. And I was like, okay, what programs? What can I get? What's the bare minimum? And
that is so badass.
Yeah, thank you. I saved up, honestly, for about a year of my allowance just to buy, maybe a little bit more, to buy an inbox back in the day, like inbox and Pro Tools. I think at the time it was like $500, and that's a lot for a kid.
Yes.
And so, so saved up for my first inbox and Pro Tools, and my parents got me my laptop, and that's where this all started.
Incredible.
10th grade.
What a beautiful journey. And what was the first moment that you felt like, okay, I can really do this professionally, and like there was some sort of like break, if you will, for you?
Yeah. For me, so there's a program, again, still in high school, called Grammy Camp. I don't know if you've heard of it. Yeah. The Grammys, the Recording Academy here puts on a summer camp every summer, and they choose about 50 kids from across the country, some people internationally, to come to LA and be tutored, mentored by Grammy Award winners. And I'll be honest, at the time, I was like, I'm not that good. I think I was, again, around 15, right when I got it, got my inbox, and I was like, I'm not that good. I don't know if I should apply, but my mom was like, apply. You need to apply. Go do it. Go do it.
Mom.
And I literally was gonna like procrastinate and miss the deadline. And the night before, she like forced me to stay up and finish my demo and do a little CD cover, because we had to mail in like CDs.
Oh
So
gosh,
she was just like,
she's amazing.
yeah, oh my gosh, she's pushed me so much. Even now, like even like DJing now, and I was like, do I want to like come back? And that's a whole other thing. She was just like, you have to. So we mailed out that demo, and I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like I used my MySpace photo like for the cover, and and got selected and got to go out to LA, and that was my first time kind of performing at any place outside of Houston. It was we did a performance at the El Rey Theater. We had Harvey Mason Jr., who's used to be the former president of the Recording Academy, but now, back then he was just, not just, but he was a super producer, Celine Dion and Michael Jackson and all of them. He was a mentor, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. There's some other people that I can't name right now, but being in their vicinity, I was just like, I can't believe I'm freaking here. Like, okay, it's maybe this can be something. Maybe I can actually do this. I've always wanted to do music, but that was kind of my first taste of being around industry and professionals and saying, okay, you know what? If I just, believe in myself a little bit and also have my mom to believe in me, then, maybe we can do this. And so that was kind of the impetus for everything. And from there, I was just like, all right, it's either this or nothing. So
that is incredible. Belief is such a powerful currency. Shout out to your mom for really shining a mirror for you.
Absolutely.
So you're launching a nonprofit, Emerging Creators Alliance, which focuses on bringing industry opportunities to underserved minority creators. I would love to hear more about this.
Yeah. So I know we spoke briefly about me being back here in Houston, and growing up, one of the things being from the South in general is like, how can I make my dreams happen? Oh, you got to go to LA. Oh, you have to go to New York. You have to leave where you're at in order to meet the right people, get the right opportunities. And now, with the advent, of course, social media, that's how we're able to connect. You really can do it from anywhere. However, I think there still is kind of I don't want to say a damper, but kind of like a glass ceiling on being from the South, being from places that are not historically industry cities. So
just to your foot in the door, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, exactly. You have to literally break through pretty much online. And so when I came back here, there's a long story behind even coming back here. I was kind of like, okay, God, why am I here? I was in New York. I lived in LA at the time. I was like, this feels weird that I'm back in Houston. I was making traction in New York, making traction in LA. Kind of felt like I just got like dropped right back in Houston. And I was like, okay, well, there has to be a reason that I'm here. And I started saying, okay, well, why did I leave Houston? And for me, it was the lack of opportunity. So I said, okay, what can I do to basically be the change that I want to see? And so I was like, I've been chipping away at it for the past few years, saying, okay, as I'm progressing, what can I do to shine a light on others here and bring other female DJs, producers, multi-different ethnicity creators that normally are kind of overlooked in certain aspects, and say, okay, if I get something that is an opportunity for me, how can I bring you along with me? And so that was the start of everything. But now we're finally getting going, and launching in the next week, actually. So super, super excited about that.
This is amazing. How can we support this? If there's anything that we can put on socials or whatever. I love that you asked, you asked God why you're back there, and then you also created your own answer to that question. By starting
that's real.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. And I absolutely will definitely let you know, because we need all of the support. I have a crew of up and coming, super hungry female DJs that are here, and I mean they've been here in Houston, and they're like, we love Houston, but we want to do more. We see the possibilities. How can we bridge this gap? And
I love this.
Thank you,
That's
LP.
beautiful.
And so that's really what I've been pouring so much energy into. And Yeah, I'm excited about the return that's gonna happen very
Yes.
soon.
Great. We'll offline more about
Thank
this.
you.
But I have a
Yeah.
final question that I'm very excited to ask you in particular because you seem like you're full of wealth and knowing yourself. What
Oh, thank you.
advice would you give your younger self?
Ooh, my younger self, to listen to my mom. But no,
That's great advice.
really, that's real one. She's gonna love that. Oh my gosh. But honestly, it's like keep working through the doubt, you know, and being consistent. I notice every time that I'm consistent, even if it's mini breakthroughs, they get you to the next step. And when you're working through the doubt, it's like, okay, I don't know, but if you just keep on chipping away, something's gonna come through. And so I'm still telling myself that now, but definitely
Yes,
to
yeah,
my younger
I'm going
self
to take
too.
that advice now.
Right.
Thank you so much for being a guest on Femme House Radio, Tay Powers. I think the work you're doing is amazing. Your music is amazing. We really believe in you, and we're honored to be supporting you in any way possible.
That means so much, LP. I'm super glad to be initiated into the Femme House fam. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for having me so much.